Hello everyone, welcome to Artistically Married, where art and opportunity collide. We're your hosts, Jake Ackerman.
And Brianne Steinberg.
And today we have Ethan Rising with us. Ethan is, I swear he's Niagara's only sound tech. Any event we go to, you're the guy there.
We just have magnets to each other. No, but it's true. I mean, you've just worked in like so many different places and so many different parts of the industry. So I think it's great. You're our first sound tech.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. Jake's a little nervous. He's like, oh God, he's going to be judging me.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
Yeah, it's a micro amount of sound teching involved in a podcast.
Yeah, if it works, it works. And over the years, that's what I've learned. That's the most important thing about my job is, yeah, it might be right, it might be wrong, but if people are having a good time, they enjoy the sound.
Yeah,
that's what it's about. That's
keep
the goal,
it going.
right?
Yeah, keep it going.
Yep.
Yeah. So can you give us kind of like a background? How did you end up doing sound engineering? How did you kind of decide to pick that as a career path?
Sure. Yeah. So I guess I've always just been into music. I played guitar and bass from a somewhat young age, but I was always interested in like the technical side of it, and I took a course before I went to take audio engineering, which I did at Fanshawe College in London, Ontario. I took a course in computer sciences, and I dropped out after 2 days because I was just like,
2 days.
2 days, yeah. I was like, this is no. I'm not gonna think about logic equations for the rest of my life. I just can't.
Yeah. I think there's like a huge part of which we're going to talk about in terms of like sound engineering that is involved in like computer and tech.
Yeah.
So you were probably thinking that like, you need that to do the sound teching. And then you realize that there's a whole bunch of computer stuff that you don't need to know.
Well, at this point, I am interested in all that stuff. But
yeah.
At the point in time, I just realized that it wasn't, where to start my journey and everything.
Yeah.
Just computers are great. Like I build computers.
You need them, yeah.
I use them all the time. I'm very involved with them. But, understanding each logic process isn't really part of making music, which is more of what I'm interested in,
Right.
And, so from there, I really realized I had to do something I really wanted to do. And the only thing that really jumped out at me was music, and I just had a natural curiosity to know what different effects did. I played around with programs like Fruity Loops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Fruity Loops.
Those are the best.
Oh, yeah. And, stuff like that, and just mess around making music, recording guitar layers on there, and just playing around. And from there, I went to school, and just kind of started me down the path. From there, I've just been doing sound ever since, and various fashions. So
Fanshawe,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Fanshawe College. It's called Music Industry Arts. It was a great program, actually. When I went there was a teacher by the name of Jack Richardson, who's the producer of the Guess Who.
Come on.
Major Canadian icon.
Yeah.
So I was one of the last classes to actually have him as a teacher, which was amazing.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Then what? He retired?
He retired, and he's since passed away. But he was quite old. He kept working.
Amazing.
But now they have like an awards, music awards, named after him in London, Ontario, and he's still well regarded, and people still haven't forgotten about Jack.
Huge band. That's cool.
Oh yeah, he's worked on a lot of stuff too. So.
How long was the program?
It was 2 years,
okay.
But there was an optional third year, which I also took.
Oh.
And that's was focused mostly on post-production.
Okay.
So like video editing, sound effects editing, dialogue recording, editing, all that kind of more techie stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think you should sign up for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know I really would like to do something like that.
He's kind of got thrown into all this tech now.
Well, same thing. I was just into it and kind of just got what I could to do what I needed to do. I actually learned sound working for a church, so you were doing got thrown into it, and they do really big productions, so it was actually quite a lot compared to what I've done since then.
Yep.
But I was always worried with school that it's gonna be kind of like obsolete by the time you get out of it. The way everything's changing and all the gear's changing now. Like when you had analog stuff, it didn't change much. There was new fancy things, but like it was kind of all the same. And now the jump to digital is, I guess it's similar, but it was you know, is a different process.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that.
And then when you get out of school, are you still gonna be relevant? The rate that it changes, but
It's true. Yeah, like when I went to school, my first year was all analog. It was all tape, 2-inch tape machines and all that. And actually, the first year I was there was the first year that they actually did put a Pro Tools system in with the analog system, but just 8 tracks of it. So you could transfer tape to Pro Tools because everybody was going that route at that time. And the second year was more focused on digital. They still had the tape machine in the studio, but it was all a Pro Tools rig.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fun that typically like the way tech evolves is that it just makes it like more and more user friendly. So at least it's going in that direction where you're like, oh, I think it's never a bad thing in my mind to like learn how to do it more hands on and more like, you know, manually. And then all of a sudden, you know, a tool comes in. We were talking to our cousin, he's a DJ. And he's like, oh my gosh, you know, like the things that I had to deal with when I was DJing in the 80s. And now like it's evolved so much that it's so much easier. So it's kind of nice that when you get that like background education where you're like, well, I could do this manually, but now I just push this button and it does it for me, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And knowing how the things work is kind of what I think is my job, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm the one that if something breaks, I have to understand where the problem might be and be able to fix it. And if it's a live situation, you got to do it fast.
Oh, I can't even. We were at we were just at Cicada and they couldn't get the music working.
Oh, right.
There was like a ground issue.
oh, that was that wouldn't have been the sound tech's problem, but
They
I
couldn't
guess
get
we tell it.
power.
So
Yeah.
the whole power in the venue wasn't working,
We were gonna
and
ask
we
Eric
worked with
Dixon
an
about
electrical
it.
contractor, and so like they would just have power for a second, then it would shut off, and then he was like, "Bring 2 5-gallon pails of water and meet me like over here," and they're like, "Okay," and then they just went to the grounding rod, and it had been so dry that it wasn't grounding, so they just dumped water onto the grounding rod into the ground, and boom, there's the power and everything works. But like this was like a big festival, and all of a sudden, oh, no power. Like
That's dangerous.
yeah,
Yeah. And to like just dump water on it. You're like, what the heck?
That's
well, yeah, just dry ground.
yeah, it's making it. Yeah, you're making it a ground again. But
Yeah.
the part when it's not a ground is when you get into trouble. So
Yeah.
you can fry all sorts of digital gear with it, and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I think you you touched on a really good point is that it's also typically like under pressure because it's live and there's people waiting and there's artists waiting to go on or whatever, right? Like it's so unpredictable.
There's a lot of people in the room that's their moment, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm constantly in situations where it's people's moment to shine, like, you know. So, you know, you gotta do your job and you gotta do it effectively, but you also have to take care of the people who are performing because ultimately that's what it's about, right? Like they're going on the stage. They're the one that has to explain to the audience why it didn't work or why it's late or, you know, so.
Doesn't sound right
Yeah.
or whatever.
You know, you always got to work together with the artist.
Yeah.
It sucks when you work with an artist who doesn't see it that way, you know, but usually we get through and by the end of it, they understand what's happening and it all happens
Hilarious. What do you mean by they don't understand that?
fine. Well, you know, some artists are more important than everything on earth. So,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh.
it's, you know, and especially right before you're about to present everything you've built and your music to a new audience, like you can be stressed. So
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, you got to be
Yeah.
sensitive to these situations. You know?
Right.
I remember seeing a local band at L3 and like they were just like kids and probably hadn't played a lot, but then the guy is like, he's telling the sound tech like, make all the instruments like the same volume as all the other ones. And it's just like, yeah, that's kind of
I know
what
what
we're
I'm
trying
doing,
to do.
man. Yeah, I'm trying. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the input.
I was curious, like behind the scenes, what your interaction is with like the players before the shows, during and after. Like, what is your actual interaction with them? I always think about that. I'm like, you know, I know there's like sound checks and whatever, but what does the relationship and the interactions actually look like?
Well, I mean, it's always different. Like anything. Generally, the way I try to be is I kind of feel like I'm the ambassador to the stage. In a way. If they're having a bad day or they're rushed, you know, I try to kind of like accommodate them getting into the groove, getting on the stage. Like, because, you know, you're basically transitioning worlds, like from the outside world to the stage. It's a completely different life, you know, and you know, some people can just hop up and just do it. You know, some people just do it. Some people need a little focus. Some people need their day to go right. There's a lot going on that way. Like sometimes it's more of a psychology than it is, you know, actually making things work. It's about trying to make it work in a way that they're okay with, you know, and sometimes technically they might be expecting something that you can't provide, or, you know, there's all sorts of things. But if you just approach with an open attitude and say, like, we're going to do the best we can, generally everybody's on board with that, because that's typically how it goes anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Everybody works as a team. We pull off a show.
Yeah. I'm wondering what you're kind of like, you're talking about the psychology behind it, but what did it look like, you know, when you were first starting out, that amount of pressure and like just the gun to your head that everybody wants you on all the time, and kind of what does that look like today going through, you know, being 20 years in the industry?
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, I think I got to mention Rick Rose at this point, because he's kind of helped me along a lot in this industry, especially in the Niagara region.
Yeah.
After I went to school in London, I came back here after going home to Kingston for a year or two, and opened a studio with a guy named Mike Ciricino. Mm-hmm. He's a musician. He operates a studio out of his garage. But we owned a studio together called Winding Path Media, and that wouldn't have been possible without Rick. He kind of like showed us the space, got us a really good deal on it.
Right, because his music school was also in that building. It was the NFCVI building.
NFCVI. He was across the hall from us. So
right. Me too. That's where my dance studio was.
Your dance studio, right.
Yeah.
We had lots of fun, like with Rick and all the other teachers and the students. We would help them with their recitals and that sort of thing. But why I bring this up is the first live sound gig I ever did was for what Rick was putting on a songwriting circle in the theater of the school. And I'd never been in the theater, never really done live sound. He said, oh, it's going to be fine.
That's a huge space.
Huge space. We didn't have the right PA at all. And it was 4 acoustic guitars, some of them having DIs, some of them needing mics.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ron Sexsmith was there. So, like, you know, learning how to mic up an acoustic guitar for Ron Sexsmith isn't ideal.
No.
Although it's pretty great, because Ron is actually like the most gentle and kind soul. He understood exactly what was going on. He's just like, yeah, I'm fine. Just, yeah, I don't really need monitor. No, it's fine. Yep, just put the mic there. That's good. Yep. Wow. He knew exactly what was going on, whereas there's some other guys that were very upset that, you know, we had the inappropriate monitor, inappropriate mics, inappropriate everything. And they were right.
Yeah.
Like, if I had done more than 0 shows, I might have had an idea of what I was doing. But, you know, we got through it. And
Rick just left you get all the gear?
I can't exactly, because it was Mike's gig, and then I just kind of jumped in and helped out.
Okay.
When they were like, we don't have any monitors, and he grabbed whatever Yorkville powered speaker he had for doing acoustic shows. It was just awful.
Yeah.
One terrible monitor for 4 like world-class guitar players.
Wow.
So, you know, that was the beginning.
Wow.
And
nowhere to go but up.
Exactly. If you can handle that kind of stuff, then, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. So fast forward now, like, how is your temperament before, you know, shows and feelings like that?
I'm pretty confident now, because I've done just about everything about 1,200 times.
Right. Exactly 1,200 times.
But, like, you know, I've never strayed away from doing the work. Never tried to make it easy. Like, I generally set up a show from scratch every time, just so it's just the norm for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm fast. I'm able to just pull stuff up quick, and that way, when I get into these situations where, you know, I don't rely on, you know, the pre-prep, I just rely on my ability to do my job.
Right.
And
what's the pre-prep look like?
Well, you know, if you're gonna mix a show for somebody, you might find out what kind of board they have. If it's digital, you can like pre-map it out and bring in a file, arrange your effects, plan everything ahead of time. The problem with that is, unless the band is on the ball and doing the same thing every time, which rarely do, then you're going in there with a plan that you're just gonna have to alter. So, you get on a tour with the same band over and over again, it's going to be pretty same. But like,
Yeah.
I haven't done a lot of touring. So, usually I'm the guy they hire just like, this is messed up. Can you go fix this? Like, yep.
Yep.
No
Here we
problem.
go. Yeah.
And then they pay me. It's great.
Yeah. I will say you have, like, every time I'm checking in with you, you're doing something super different. So you have like a huge like repertoire in terms of, and I get it. That is like the nature of sound, is you can do sound for anything, right? You could be, doing sound for a birthday party, and then, you could be doing like a huge big band or like a Broadway.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you kind of take jobs in terms of like your interest? And it feels like you're just challenging yourself, but
A lot of times I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Generally, like, it depends how desperate for money I am, obviously.
Oh my
But like, I don't know, in the past, 5 to 10 years, I've mostly been able to kind of just do whatever I want in terms of gigs. Cause and I just moved to Toronto like less than a year ago. So,
yeah,
now
that's
I'm kind
crazy.
of getting into that world, which is, incredibly different. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like I can go, like, I haven't called anybody yet, and everybody wants my resume, and I work more than I want to already without even trying to get work. So it's like, it's a different world, So I just go out and get a high-paying gig without even trying. So around here, it's like you're part of the community. There's certain people who know me, and I would help them out whenever I could. And, in Toronto, it's just like, here's a bunch of money, go make this happen. And, that's just how business works. And
yeah, it's nice to have like those opportunities though, right?
Oh, it makes my life easier,
Yeah.
It's art and everything's amazing, and it's the reason why I do all this, It's not for the money, but the stability of being able to find well-paying work and knowing you're going to get compensated for it, within the next 6 months,
yeah,
makes a difference in your life quality.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I was curious, kind of, I know we were talking to Amanda Lynn about this, and just like kind of the difference between, and I know you've done jobs where like, you were working for the Shaw or you're working for the Pack, and it is consistent, you're working kind of like more of a salary situation versus like a freelance. Can you talk to like,
Sure.
the two different experiences? Like,
Sure.
I'm sure there is finances involved, but what's the like emotional impact
Well, yeah, I
on
mean,
both of those?
both have their pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
And, I've done both. Currently, I'm just freelancing. Mostly, I'm just a unique person I need to fix problems. Like if I was head of audio at the Shaw Festival for a couple of years. I left because they had their own plans about how things should go, and it didn't involve anything to do with my problems, or there was no way for me to reconcile the issues I saw with the way they operated without them being like, who cares? They
like specifics.
I don't know if I should get into specifics, but
okay. You don't want to throw them under the bus.
Well,
Yeah.
The Shaw is a great organization, full of the most talented and wonderful people.
So much talent.
And it just turned into a metaphor of how I see the whole world today. Is like we have all these wonderful people willing to do whatever, these wonderful things,
especially in the name of art.
In the name of art, especially, is what I'm mostly speaking of.
Yeah.
And in these organizations, things get construed. The budget is what they need to make the art, but sometimes it becomes more important than the art. And I don't know. That's just not my style. I don't know if you know anything about George Bernard Shaw himself, like. It just kind of is a big joke in a way, because like he just basically made fun of all this stuff, like how backwards institutions would get the original ideals, and he's a genius. He is a beautiful writer, and it's just kind of, I don't know, just kind of told me that maybe the ideals that I strongly recognize and that this place is supposed to be about, and they kind of snub, just means that I just couldn't do another year. It's basically what it boiled down to. I just can't be in this position and not be able to fix the problem.
Right.
I was also young in the position. The guy before me was there for like 35 years.
Wow.
So, I could have stuck it out and probably come to some solutions, but I'm not sad for leaving, just because I feel better in general in my life. So
Good for you.
yeah.
Yeah, you really do, especially as an artist, you have to like, vouch for yourself. Vouch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like vouch? No. Yeah, you have to be protective of those virtues and values.
You
And
have to
like
steer your own ship.
yeah. And
You gotta
especially
steer your own
when
ship.
the freelancing is an option and can be like more lucrative and more working in closely. I think it might not be that you're necessarily getting to have the experiences with the artist or the players or the situation. I think you are a little bit more hands-on, but I think it's more just like getting away from some of those organizational or institutional issues.
Yeah.
Because when you're watching it happen, you're watching the, profit margins be more important than the art.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Especially if you feel people are being taken advantage of. That's
Oh,
like a big
especially.
overlying theme of the podcast.
and Niagara is especially bad for that. And like
Yeah.
in Toronto, I mean, it can be bad in Toronto. Like it goes both ways. Toronto has so many people that there's going to be all sorts of different artists doing all sorts of different things.
There's so much going on in
so
one
much
night
going on.
there. Yeah.
But
So much
in-
opportunity.
In Niagara, like the guys who are doing it in Niagara and the guys and girls they have stuck it out in the desert doing it forever, which really also hones their craft in a way. Like, I mean, look at the Sea of Golden Burgundy and those guys. Like,
They're coming on our podcast on Monday.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, they just released a new album. And
yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it for a long time, and like to have that kind of persistence in an environment that challenges your existence, your very existence, just kind of makes really great artists in a way. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
Puts that pressure on it's like diamond under pressure kind of thing. Yeah.
Diamond under pressure. That's why you
Yeah.
know, working around Niagara, I have no regrets about at all. Like I working with some great people,
I think you hit a good point too, that there is so much like community around it, right? So I do get that feeling of like, yeah, there's like big, amazing, important things happening in Toronto, but like I'll go to a show and I don't know anyone. Where like here, you do see the same population of people, so it ends up being like a growing community kind of rallied around the artist, regardless of the fact that we're all broke. No one's making any money doing any of this. We're doing it because we love it. But I think it is a more community building experience around these different art venues because it is a smaller town.
It feels more real in a way, less just guaranteed that it's going to happen and more that we just went out and made it happen because we needed to.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. I mean, you're probably like kind of living this experience and you could speak to it or not, but I think you do hear a lot of artists kind of going to the big city because they want more of those opportunities. But I'm always cautious to like, I'm just like a numbers girl. So I'm like, sit down, show me the spreadsheet, And I'm always curious to see how much, actually goes into the cost of the transition to like live in some of these places. What's the trade-off, right? Like, yes, okay, so maybe you're getting more opportunity and you're getting higher paying gigs, but then to function in that industry is so expensive. Your housing is like a fortune. So in my head, I'm always kind of like balancing out for artists' sake. Like we always talk about it, what opportunities are available and at what cost. Right.
Well, the opportunity presented itself to me to move to Toronto because I knew people who I live with now.
Oh, perfect.
And
you want a couch?
No, that's how I met them. They're like, you're doing a gig with us. You can crash on the couch.
Like...
Yeah, the people of this house are part of a family that are involved heavily with the Tottenham Bluegrass Festival.
Okay.
And they also do corporate events in Toronto a couple times a year.
Okay.
So I met this one guy at a theater I was touring through, and his name's Drew. He's awesome. We hit it off. Just setting up for a show, and he recognized that we kind of were similar, and he just like, hey, I got a gig in January. You want to come be my video operator? I was like, okay.
Like you're operating the camera?
Well, video operator involved. It's mostly projections is what I'm in charge of. Projections, TVs, and PowerPoint. It's corporate, so it's like business people come in, present their presentations. They need to see what they need to see. They need the people to see what they need to see, and it needs to be perfect at all times. It's
timed well,
but they pay very well, and I'm good at it. So I've been working with him doing that.
Yeah.
But in doing so, they let me crash on their relative's couch. and they needed a roommate, and it's actually cheaper than what I was paying for in the Falls.
Come on.
And it's got parking. I mean, okay, I'm going to be real. It's kind of it's all 4 guys, and I feel like I'm back in college again.
Wow, like a frat house.
A bit of a frat house, maybe even worse.
I don't know. Is it like the ladies in college?
No. Like, okay. I went to a show, and we met a girl. There was a few of us. So a girl came back to our apartment.
One girl, 4 guys.
I warned her like 8 times, like, this place is not what you're expecting, and she called it a murder house, and left after 15 minutes. She was very nice, and I was like, I told you,
I warned you. Yeah. Those are the moments that you're like, oh, I saved so much money, you spring for a hotel, Ethan.
True enough. It wasn't like that. It was more,
don't take her back to the murder house.
No, it wasn't like that. It was more of like, nothing's gonna happen, but these guys will see what it's like when an actual girl comes over to the place.
A real life girl.
Oh, see how she reacts. It wasn't pretty. It was like a train wreck. It was real bad.
Well, you tried.
Well, yeah, it's an experimentation, like everything, right?
Yeah.
Learn from it or move on.
Yeah, totally.
We started cleaning the house more since that happened, though. I'll tell you that much.
Look at that. Yeah, girls always do that. Make you clean your house.
It's true.
Amazing. Let's talk about gear. I was like, I'm going to ask this question and I'm not going to know any of the answers that come out of your mouth, but I'm sure lots of our listeners that are in that kind of tech world. But yeah, can you speak to some of your favorite gear?
Oh, geez.
You could do brands, you could do, stuff. You could do software. You can talk about whatever you want.
Well, I mean, there's so much different stuff out there. I mean, in terms of live, there is like one thing that's been used a lot lately for larger shows, pretty much all larger shows, is something called a primary source enhancer.
Wow.
PSE. It's basically a fancy, what they call a spectral gate. A gate is basically, you have this microphone here and it's picking up everything. You only want it when I'm like hitting a tambourine here. You can program the gate to just let the sound out and then close down gently when you hit the tambourine, just based on how loud it is. Mm-hmm. But a primary source enhancer is more intelligent in that it analyzes what the source is and works to enhance the primary source of sound and does through.
So it's only going to pick up like what it wants to. And it can get rid of everything else.
Yes.
That's great. I need that here.
She
bleeds into this mic all the time, and
it's hard to deal with, right? Like, you don't realize until you put it into headphones.
Exactly.
It's more of a problem with the gear than it is with you because you're just being you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
See?
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's the attitude you have to take.
We could just do it kissing the mics the whole time and have low gain, but I don't know. It's more comfortable just to sit around them.
And people can still hear. It's just,
exactly.
There's lots of things you can do. PSEs are great, but they most notably use them in stuff like the Super Bowl, where you have a giant PA right over your head and everybody's on a wireless mic.
Oh yeah, you got all those people moving around like that. Oh my god.
A lot of times it's all pre-recorded because you can't just whip up a stage without a sound check and just get going and expect it all to work.
And they do. They just build it in 5 minutes as they're getting ready for the show. Oh, I can't even imagine.
There's a guy from the Niagara region I know. He goes down and helps out with the Super Bowl quite often. He's done it 2 or 3 times now, and he's been one of the guys just hauling stuff out there as fast as possible.
Yeah. I can't even imagine a show like that. We had Dano from My Son the Hurricane on, and same thing. I've been to some of those shows and I'm just thinking, or like an orchestra, right? Where there's just so many players. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine. Yeah.
I heard a story. I was listening to this guy, Scotty Baldwin. He is I guess a well-known sound tech, and he does these big shows in China now. He used to work in America, and they're like these huge bands. He's they're bigger than any American band will ever be because there's so many people there, right?
Yeah.
And the way he was doing sound for the show, just sounded really cool. He's I'm touring with this one guy, and he's I know all the songs as well as the musicians do. So he's like, you know, they hits this note at this part, and then I put a big thing of reverb on it in the back, and then so he's doing all these extra effects and like very specifically like tailored to each song and every part of the show. Have you ever like done a tour like that or gotten into like sound at that like intense level?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
That's pretty much what happens. I mean, you go out on the road and you're doing the same show over and over again, and if you care about it, you notice these details. You know, I'm just like a musician. Often before mixing a show, like it's much like preparing to perform. It is a performance, you know, and it's strange that way. But shit, where was I?
Yeah, I don't know. Intense sound.
Right. Yeah. So like, yeah, you just kind of,
or
you
basically
know it.
The sound guy as another like member of the band or musician. I guess that's kind of, yeah.
That's definitely, a lot of bands want that, and it just takes, you know, treating us like a member of the band. Like, you know, just letting us do our thing. Let us try things. You don't like it, say no. Or if you do like it, say yes. You know, like that's kind of how it goes. But, you know, that's kind of one of the skills you pick up over time is knowing how to be tasteful with effects, or knowing when it's appropriate, or, you know, and it's hard to gauge unless you really know the band and how they interact with the crowd and what kind of crowd they're drawing. And there's a lot going on. So, yeah, on tour, you generally just kind of, you just learn, and like,
and you get practice as you
it's
go
just
show
like
by show, right?
playing the show over and over again. Like there's certain, you're like, oh, this part I really need to nail this part. You know, it's the same thing. Like the real time pulling it off is much of a performance, and like it's way more fun if you're having fun too. So
totally.
I generally try to get into it as much as possible.
I was gonna say, what's your like favorite music to sound tech?
To sound tech?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything that's different. I like it all. Even the boring straight stuff is fun. I just love my job, really. I love mixing. I can mix anything, and I'll put you know, not always. If I'm really hungry and stuck in the cold for like 8 hours, I might not be smiling at that particular time.
Yeah.
But when I go home, I'll have a smile on my face, remembering all the good times and not the bad times.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to actually ask you that, because I know what you're going to say. You're probably going to be like, oh, you know, it depends. But yeah, what's like a typical schedule look like if you're doing like a show?
It's always different.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I like that my day's not the same ever. I like that the problems aren't the same ever.
Right.
You know, it just keeps me sharp, and I like to, that's what I enjoy about it, is like, it's real. Like, it's just me in this moment, in this situation, and we're going to get out of it, and it's going to be fine. Everybody's going to have a smile on their face.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
But schedules vary widely from these corporate gigs. I was starting work at 6 a.m. and going home at 7 or 8 p.m.
Oh my God.
And then, I mean, sometimes it's like even worse than that. You stay at like 6 a.m. to like midnight or 1 sometimes. But that's why it's very important to negotiate your overtime rate, because a lot of times these things, these events need to happen, but they also need to happen for less money than the person has. So the way they do that is they imagine that you can be super effective at your job and do cartwheels at the same time as going to the washroom, and everything's going to get done, and they're going to save all the money that they don't have. But usually in the end, it results in you doing some stupid, inane stuff for a long period of time. And you know, as long as I have that built into the agreement, I will do anything.
Yeah.
That is fine. You're paying me to be here. I will be here with bells on. But in these events, you got to be careful, because it is, like I said, an important moment for people. And when that happens, people kind of like maybe aren't quite sure about how things are going to play out. And maybe they're hoping for the best a little too much, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think you make a good point too, as like, especially being a freelance artist like that you really have to like know what your boundaries are and know kind of what to ask for. Like, how do you figure out, you know, I mean, obviously as you get comfortable, you're like, oh, well, I got, you know, this amount for this and I worked this hour. So you have like a relativity. Yeah. But I could totally see in that industry people getting taken advantage of. Always. Especially early on in their careers where they don't even understand their worth.
It still happens to me, but I let it happen for the right gigs, you know?
Yeah.
There's sometimes
You're like, as long as you kick in lunch, we're good.
well, that's
me.
actually extremely important.
Feed me the whole time.
Really, food. Same thing with events. It's timed. That people don't necessarily think about the laborer's food,
Right.
and like in these events, these corporate events, I can't leave. Like the moment I leave is the moment when some bigwig comes up and wants to plug their computer in and test it.
Right.
So like,
or someone important speech and they mess up, or a mic goes
well,
down, or whatever.
there is time in between these things, but these people are nervous. They want to check their stuff, which is great. I want to check their stuff too, but
totally.
also I need to eat at some point.
Exactly. Yeah, eating and going to the bathroom is worse than Amazon workers in the factory.
But at least like that's it. When I have control of how much I'm paid, like I just know that's the job getting into it.
Yeah.
And
Those are the
a plan ahead,
expectations.
and it's fine. I don't mind that. But
Yeah,
it's the opposite where like, okay, we need you for this amount of money, and then oh yeah, you can't go to the washroom or eat, and you have to do this and you have to do that, and like eventually it just gets ridiculous.
Yeah. How is it like working with other techs? Because I know like on any given job, you might know the person, you might not. They might be doing video, you're doing sound, or vice versa. So like, how does it work? Working with other technicians.
It's much like any other job. You could be doing the worst job in the world, and if you got the greatest people next to you, it's kind of fun,
Yeah.
So I've done some crap jobs in my time, like when I was younger, and the people who were right next to me made it fun. So it's especially the same. Like us techs are a weird breed. Like none of us are exactly the same. We're a bunch of mostly misfits, a lot of us, and they just want to be a part of something that's not so monotonous and mundane, but still technically minded, and I don't know. There's all sorts of us out there, and it's a lot of fun. Like, I mean, there's a lot of great techs in Niagara that I've worked with, and to be honest, it's a blast. It's the same with the artists and the actors and the creative people in general. The people who are around putting on shows generally tend to be pretty adaptable. Let's say adaptable. They can deal with anything. They have an open sense of humor. They're out there in the light doing things, so they kind of just do things. They're not so worried about things. They just kind of just make it happen, and that's the attitude you need. Keep it flow, find the flow. Yeah.
I was actually just listening to like a motivational speaker, and they were saying that they were just like, if we can teach our youth anything, that's what we need to teach them, is like how to interact with other people, like just being able to be malleable and, work together as a team. I think it's becoming exceedingly difficult for the youth coming up. I see it in the dance studio where the kids are having a really hard time just negotiating with each other.
Yeah.
Interacting, period, to be honest. Communicating with each other becomes like difficult.
Yeah.
Have you been in scenarios where like you were fighting against someone that didn't know what they were doing?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's best in these situations. Like I'm a technician, right? So I'm not the artist. So whatever they want to do is what I'm doing, right? Like that's my attitude. Like I'm not going to do something
that's good, yeah.
Well, that's what it is.
I wasn't even thinking of the artist being like a pain in the ass. I was thinking like you were working with another tech that was like a problem.
There are problem people in any work, and there's not. Generally, I just don't work in those environments when there's problems. And generally, those problems aren't usually individuals. There's something to do with the organization or something to do with something, or people are just having a bad day. It happens.
Yeah. You never just like, get out of the way.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. Regrettably, it's not the way to do it.
Yeah, go on lunch, buddy, and don't come back.
Nobody likes that. There's a lot nicer ways to do things. But it does happen.
Yeah.
But generally, I just sit and wait for them to. Generally, silence speaks volumes. If somebody's being over demanding, I could just sit there and look at them for a minute and just like, are you going to ask me again? Because I'm waiting for you to ask me again, just so you understand how dumb you sound.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's pretty passive aggressive, and That's, I don't know. The ways of a sound engineer are sometimes subtle yet effective.
Yeah, saying that thing. Give him the death stare.
Yeah, but 9 times, that's like those times, I don't really have many memories of issues on stage. Like, usually the issues are usually we handle as a team and we overcome them. That's kind of like the whole thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing happens on your own. Like, I don't care how good a sound engineer you are. You didn't plug in that cable that made your speaker system work, did you?
Right.
So how do you know it works?
Yeah.
Because you have a team that did it for you.
Yeah.
It's every step of the puzzle really matters.
Yeah.
And when egos get in the way, sometimes things get muddled,
messy.
Yeah. But also you got to recognize that ego is kind of important for a lot of people who will go out on a stage. I've recorded artists and worked with all sorts of artists, and their ego is their act in a way, right? It's who
without
they
that
are.
they wouldn't have like the confidence to do what they do.
We need ego to get the confidence to do these things. So you can't be completely dismissive of it, but also it is a challenge sometimes.
Yeah. I was wondering if there was like any like weird or wild requests you've ever gotten from an artist.
Oh geez. Yeah, okay. A couple of requests. I've worked in theater a lot.
Yeah.
I'll start there.
Yeah.
Back when I was first starting to work in theater, I was working at the Fruin Theater doing deck audio for Aladdin Jr. That means I battery up all the mics, ensure everybody gets their mic on right, the right spot, and everything's good to go for the show. Yeah. And if there's a problem during the show, I'm the guy in deck going out to handle it.
Yeah. It was Linus's?
Linus. Yeah. Yes, Linus Hand Productions. It was Silver Mist at that point in time.
Okay.
But it was a while ago.
Yeah.
There was one actor, his name was Michael Raleigh, and he was just such a great guy. He was an older gay gentleman who he played Scar on The Lion King.
Okay.
I believe in the Toronto production, like a while ago, like big production. And he played Jafar in Aladdin. He's got like the perfect voice. It's like the
smoky,
like maniacal. Like he just had it to a T.
Amazing.
And he would do things like he would joke that I was attractive, and he would say things like, "Oh, Ethan, I think my mic pack is fallen down. Can you go take a look?" And like he would prop up his costume, which is a big, cape thing, and stick his butt out, and he'd like, do things like this.
Amazing.
All the time. And I was like, "Oh, Michael, it's fine. It's fine."
Amazing.
Yeah, that was funny. I joked around. Oh, he was a great guy. Like, actors are very open people for the most part, and as long as you're open and cool with it, they'll just go along with it.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone along with it, but
it's more fun.
No harm, no foul, and I made a friend along the way. So
yeah, totally. It's amazing. Yeah, they always got like some good like big actors for like his main cast of crew. I know we've had so many interactions with the kids that play like the chorus, because he gets all the kid like that's he's really building community amongst all the school kids and getting all the schools out. Like, I've told him so many times. So his, my dad and his brother are my dad and his brother are like best friends.
Mark?
Mark. Mark Hand.
Yep.
Yeah, is really good friends. Yeah, because he's been involved in Linus's stuff too.
He's been involved, yeah. Yep.
Such a good actor. And his daughter, Allie, too. So, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he acted in, what show was that?
He was the Oz.
Oh, he was
the
Oz.
Great Oz.
He was a great Oz. Yeah, I did that one. That was fun. That was a really fun one. We had a lot of fun with that. That's a cool sound setup I did for that one. Yeah, we pre-recorded Oz, and he was like a big projection of gray,
a video,
green distorted sort of face.
Right.
And then I made a voice, like they recorded his voice, and then I pitch shifted it and added all this stuff, and added all these layers to it, and it really worked because in the theater, this was at the convention center in the Falls. Yeah,
Scotiabank.
Scotiabank.
Yeah.
And their theater there, they have a theater, but it's basically a box, except all the seats retracted to the wall. And the seats come out, and it turns into a theater.
Really?
Yeah, they all
Wow.
retract, but underneath,
So many seats in there.
yeah, it's like 1,000,
Yeah.
like 900 and something, 970 or.
That's my goal for my next venue at the studio.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
You'll pay a lot though. They're not cheap.
I know.
They don't they've kind of moved away from supporting community acts. That's
Oh,
why
yeah?
Linus doesn't really go there anymore.
Right. He started using Greg Freeland's place, I think. Yeah.
Because they had enough of, they're trying to be local, but they're paying through the nose to do it. They really, like, the bills that they charge these corporations that go through there, that, it just doesn't pale. It pales in comparison how much money they need to make to what it actually, to pay and do actual theater requires a lot of people, and those people require money. So
Yeah.
but
Okay, maybe I gotta change my goal.
yeah, it might work.
Change my dream.
There is dance that goes through there. Like I think cheer has a big, but they take up the whole place, right? They don't just do the theater; they do everything.
Yeah, they have a whole almost like a trade show that follows the cheerleading convention.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Insane how
I know.
huge that whole adventure is. It's
I
giant.
know. I was talking to my teachers the other day about it. I was like, maybe we need to get into something like this, like cheer stuff.
Yeah,
It's an opportunity, so I'm never against those things.
I see both sides. It becomes less about the actual cheer and more about the trophies and the big moving lights and.
Well, that's the same with the dance competitions too. Like everyone's a winner, and I know.
This is through
the cheerleading is crazy.
Oh man, and
I think because on the parent side they see the potential for like going to universities for things like that. Like there's a lot more scholarships I think available for cheerleading. It's huge in the States. Like
huge in the States especially. Yeah.
So I think we're kind of following the state's lead and going more towards the cheerleading. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Poor girls.
Yeah, these
Their
poor
fake
girls.
eyelashes. And
maybe it's
red
the thing
lips.
that makes them realize that they really just want to be in a punk band and dye their hair pink and just like scream into a mic.
Go crazy.
We often have to see the opposite of what we like to know what we want. Sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Or do what your mom wants first and then change your mind.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be real.
When you walk into a venue, what's the first thing that you check?
First thing I check? Generally, I don't try to well, it depends. Like, am I going in there for work or am I going in there to enjoy it?
I guess both, because that was leading me into, it's kind of like your favorite shows that you've ever been to. So I guess either.
Well, generally... as a patron, I go into it casually and try to just not dissect it when I go in there.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
How's that possible?
It has to be
You're
possible.
looking, where are the speakers? Where's the? I'm always just like, I gotta be right here.
That happens.
So I'm like, speaker, sound booth. This is my spot,
But generally, I just want to go in there and read the vibes of the place. Just kind of be there, not focusing on the inane details of my life.
Right.
Just exist there for a minute and see how it is.
Yeah.
And then just kind of pick out, how the things are working there. I like to see how it functions.
Yeah.
And then, if it's a show I'm attending, I'll listen to the PA and kind of get a vibe on if it's a good PA for this type of music or this room. And, I mean, there's so much to it. The most important thing might be is the vibe of the room,
Yeah. Where's the bar?
Where's the bar is very important.
Where's the bar? Where's the bathroom?
I know it sounds funny, but actually in planning these venues and making a successful venue, bar location is in relation to the stage, one of the most important things.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was joking, but I guess you're right.
Oh man,
it makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
There's a book by David Byrne called How Sound Works. And it's freaking awesome. It's so good. There's a whole chapter talking about live venues.
Okay.
And CBGB's is the example.
Yeah.
And he's like, it worked because the stage wasn't right in your face. It was kind of off in the corner, angled out. And you could go to the bar and hang out with your friends and still kind of see the band, but the band wasn't in your face. And then you could go out and hang out in front of the band. It was more about the socialization in the room rather than the acoustics or the gear they had. It was just how it all fit together.
Okay. Yeah, it's about
And-
your experience, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
What's
And
CBGBs?
CBGBs? Oh,
yeah.
geez.
I
It's
know
like,
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to
It's
tell?
it's a classic club in New York. Like Ramones played there, and like it was like where they got their starts, basically.
Talking
a lot of those
Heads.
guys, yeah.
Okay.
And, like, it was like, basically, if you played there, you could get admission for free, is how it worked. So bands would go there and play there, and then other cool bands would come, and they'd come hang out, and then people would just come to see the band to hang out with the other bands, seeing the other bands, and it was, more of a culture than
Yeah.
a venue, right?
Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it's closed now, right? They closed it.
I think so.
I feel like there's
yeah.
lots of like places like that, New York and big Toronto, like
Yeah.
it's crazy because you get these big cities where lots of like famous people just live because they're living in a giant city. And again, they go there for the opportunity, but it ends up being like or Hollywood, right? Like same kind of vibe where
Yeah.
you're like meeting famous people all the time. Like famous people got to hang out too.
They want to.
If they want. Yeah, totally. Amazing. Biggest misconception that musicians have about sound techs. Oof.
Biggest misconception is sound is physics. Sound is science. When you have idealized versions of way things should sound, it might not be possible in all situations because of the technical constraints or the physics of the room, or there's all sorts of things. People see this big board and they just assume that I can just, I can turn that up all the day long. No, I can turn it up to the point where the sound from the speaker enters the microphone louder than the source that I am attempting to project, and it's called feedback, and nobody likes that.
Right.
So any of those things, and that's physics, and
Right.
so when people ask if you can change the sound, yeah, I can, but only within the physical parameters of reality.
Right. Yeah.
I guess that's the biggest misconception, and musicians often hear things differently, or they feel it. It's different. They just want it to, feel right. And sometimes they can't articulate that to the sound because the sound creates the feelings, but if it's not quite right, there's all sorts of physics in between. And it's a lot, the way we understand sound is way different than it actually functions, it's air. It's just air.
Yeah.
The way I try to explain
Pressure
waves. Picture this room is a big box of water, and I'm here to simulate my sound. If you tapped on the water right above my head, you could kind of see how the sound would propagate in a room.
Right.
So it would bounce over here, and it would be creating all sorts of crazy reflections in the corner. You can just picture how the water kind of creates these waves, and the more less coherence you have in the waveform, the crappier that it's going to sound.
Okay.
Basically, you want coherent waves in the room, and that's setting up a PA in a room. That's kind of what you're looking at. It's the same physics, fluid dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because when you're dealing with giant spaces like that, I think it's called acoustics, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, my ignorance. But I think when you get in spaces like that and you're playing with so many different levels of acoustics, that you can really run into issues. And I think you hit it on the head where sometimes it's hard to articulate it, right? As an artist, you're trying to say what you want, and as a sound tech, you're trying to say what they can get.
Yeah.
And then there's this, we're meeting in the middle where you're trying to make them happy and you're trying to do it best you can.
I can turn it up 3 hairs for you, but not 2 hairs or whatever,
Yeah, that's as good as you can get it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking to all the things that have could go wrong in a show, and wondering if you have any that come to mind that you've had to MacGyver something out of thin air.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. We did a show for Rick Mercer at the Performing Arts Center in St. Catharines there, the FOPAC. And we just had problem after the rehearsal went beautifully. Came in, set up the mic. I think I was doing video and audio that day, or maybe just video. Anyways, I remember...
Like he had a screen behind him or something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Like he would play videos and present things, and then he would talk, and then he would show things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Like a workshop?
It was a show, really, but it was like based on one of his podcasts or something. I can't remember exactly. But the video component, like... Everything worked fine in the rehearsal, and we're just like, yeah, that's great. No problem. Come back after dinner. We'll do it.
Yeah.
And then, like, as soon as he does his show, we, like, lose power to the stage, and then the computer started freezing, and, like, just, like, everything melted down, and, like, he's on stage being like, can we get the video, guys? And, I'm there, like, I'm going to restart the computer, Rick.
It's brutal.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, that's just the feeling of pressure of everybody in the audience turning their head and looking back at you is a feeling you have to become immune to, especially if you're bad at your job, I suppose. But even, like, it happens to everybody. At some point,
that's
something's going to fail, right?
Yeah.
And, showstoppers are the worst. But, like, you just, like, now I just smile and I'm like, there's all this pressure on me, and it's buckling under the pressure right now is not going to solve the issue. So, like, I just laugh at myself, like, at the comedy of the situation sometimes, and then just do my job as best I can.
Yeah.
And that's all you can really do. It's all the best result you could ever hope for anyways. So don't beat around the bush and just do it. You know? Don't panic about it. Got to make smart decisions quickly, but...
Yeah, and I think that at the top of our episode, we were kind of talking about that, and that's what I was getting at, is like you as you get more comfortable in your career, if it is a high pressure career like that you are getting more and more comfortable and sitting in that feeling of like, oh, everyone's real mad right now.
It's,
you know what?
It's funny to me now.
It's not gonna.
It makes me laugh
right.
a bit.
You were totally right that, like, getting flustered and getting all upset about it is not gonna make it happen any faster.
Yeah.
So, like, I think staying calm. A lot of people say that in any industry, just like stay calm in those moments of terror.
Yes, because they can be terror, especially like it's like, I don't know, the same thing with performing on a stage. If you go out in front of the audience and you're about to perform, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is different. Like, I practice the crap out of this song, but I don't know what it is anymore because I'm in a completely different world now. Like,
it's cracking under pressure.
Different. Yeah. Even like early days going out to change over a mic stand in front of like thousands of people, it's like, ugh, I don't want to do that. Now I just go, dude. It's just easy now. Like, but
you just get more comfortable.
You just have to be prepared for that situation,
not crack under the pressure. Hilarious. I was wondering if there was like a dream festival or a dream like location that you would do sound in.
Location? Red Rocks would be amazing.
Man.
Red Rocks, like a nice, like, and if I could tour with any band, it would be like 9 Inch Nails. Obviously, that's like my favorite band. They're amazing, but I mean, that doesn't mean that's my goal. It's just working with anybody who's creative. Like, basically, I've tried to like sum my career goals up several times. Usually when people are like, what are you doing? Like, are you do you make money? Like, what are you like?
Who asks you that?
I don't know, mostly my parents.
Okay,
maybe
like,
my
none
parents'
of our friends ask you that.
My parents' friends,
What are you doing, Ethan?
Like, do you even make money?
What are you doing with your life?
You get paid for that? But really, it made me realize that my actual life goals are to be involved with creative projects, and they can be creative in all sorts of different ways, but just creativity and helping it actually transitioning fantasy to reality. That's kind of what we do. Is like make what you imagine the way it could be and how it should be, and how we actually plug in the cables, focus the lights, bring the PA, and actually make it work.
Make people's dreams come to life.
That's right. It's true.
Have you been to Red Rocks?
Never. I know.
So good.
I've been there.
Yeah.
By just looking at it and being like, wow, what a place for a concert.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, it's so crazy. After we got home, I meant to like spend a little time on like how they actually built the amphitheater. Sorry, my mic's coming down.
Yeah, it's tipping down. Yeah. Tipping up.
Oh, I got so many sound techs.
That's another thing. You got to tighten your mic stands at all times. That's a big one. Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
every mic stand I ever
Yeah,
touch,
because the
I
artist
tighten.
wants to like just alter it and have it stick in the right spot, right?
That's fine. That's fine. But if you put a mic stand on stage and that arm isn't quite tightened, everybody assumes that arm is tightened. Halfway through that show, that mic's just gonna start falling down.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna be putting your hand in your palm, you know, like. Like, oh. Happened to David Wilcox actually at one show.
Oh no.
Oh,
His
yeah?
mic started like, and he's just like, what the heck? And like, started hitting it with his guitar.
Oh my god.
He's awesome. He just played along with it, but
Yeah.
He's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
feel
saw
like
him
you
in
did-
Iroquois Falls.
I was gonna say,
He's,
didn't
like,
you do a sound
pretty
tech
much
for
blind,
David
I
Wilcox?
think,
Yeah.
Well, he's
Close
been-
to it anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like the last time we saw him at he played at I think you were there. Maybe you were doing the sound for it when it was like downtown. Summerlicious or Springalicious.
Yeah, I never did sound for him down there. I was doing
Okay.
sound at the smaller stages, I think.
Okay.
The chaotic ones where
Everyone was
Yeah.
wasted
Oh
on
my
Queen
God.
Street,
Oh,
falling
geez.
down in the streets.
that's another Rick Rose special.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I did sound alone at the one stage. It was just me, and they had one student volunteer, and it was for like like student end of year like hype competitions.
Oh,
but it was
yeah.
all the different schools like all down there competing, and like they started getting in brawls. Like I think a knife was drawn at one point, and the
Oh my
cops were there.
gosh.
Oh my
Like-
gosh. High school kids?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's crazy.
But basically, like next year, they're like, "We're not doing that again." I was
Yeah.
like, "Thank God," because I need armed guards.
Great choice. I need bodyguards
I
for
wouldn't-
these high school kids.
I couldn't leave my sound booth because like it was just like so many people like getting pushed into my booth. Like,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
gosh.
Nuts.
Ridiculous. Rick Rose special. What a guy.
What a
He's
guy.
such an optimist.
He was definitely the most optimist
Yeah.
person I ever
Yeah,
met. Like,
exactly.
optimistic person.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think we're good to take a break.
Yep.
And then I want to come back and talk more about like the industry end and, you know,
Sure.
some of these conglomerates that are running these shows.
All right.
Yeah. The man.
We'll be back.
All right, we are back today hanging out with Ethan Rising. He is a predominant sound tech in Niagara for sure, but yeah, branching out in Toronto. Whoa.
Big city.
Big city. Yeah, so we're talking about all kinds of sound tech things, live shows, recorded, all the things. So yeah, we were talking kind of on our break, and I was thinking about this because I think, you know, we put on a show every year. We put on a dance recital. And there's all these little extra things that go along with like being the sound engineer that I think you mentioned this before, that it does take a team, and there's a lot of people working on a project. There's the actors, or there's performers, there's musicians on a stage. And then there's also, you know, all the team that goes on in terms of the tech to put it on, and there's the venue. So, you know, how do you deal with kind of things like that and all the different extras that you're asked to kind of fill those roles?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, like every situation is different, obviously. So obviously sometimes, they expect the sound guy to be the DJ.
Yeah.
Which, I'm a great DJ for my own mood and what I want to listen to at that point in time. But
right.
I'm like, when I'm working as a sound tech, I don't have time to like, are people going to dance to this next tune? Does this work? Does this have swearing in it? There's a bunch of kids in here. Are these people pro-Satanist? Because this is a Satanist tune. Like, I don't have time to think about that stuff usually.
Yeah.
So it's always better for the organizer to have their own playlist available and a device to play it on. Like, you just need an old iPad or something and a Wi-Fi connection. And that's all, that's the one thing. Making random announcements obviously is another one. But,
just be the announcer,
Hey, could you just ask if somebody has a blue Toyota with this license plate and tell them that they're a giant piece of garbage and they should fall off the face of the earth? Yeah, just give me a mic. Let me tell everybody in the place there that.
How bad this guy sucks. And let's point at him while he walks out of the venue, Oh, it's me, man.
Yeah, no, I will make announcements and I will play music, but it's better, it's like asking your plumber to wash your dishes. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because he's under the sink?
Exactly. I think because you're in the booth. You're in the booth, you have a microphone. They're like, you got to do these things, Yeah. But I think it is like a whole bunch of extra little things that I don't know. I think those thought processes go by the wayside and you don't realize it until you're in the thing because you spent so much time focusing on the show that was going to happen that you're like, oh God, these people are here a half an hour early.
Yeah.
We got to play something. They can't sit in silence.
Yeah.
So it ends up being all these afterthoughts, right? That ends up getting put on the sound tech.
Oh, yes. This is normal. And this definitely goes on under the category of wishful thinking.
Right.
My event's going to be perfect. I know it.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And I think too, it comes back to you knowing that all those things come up. So you reminding people and saying, okay, hey, have you thought about this? And I think working with you for the recital, you did do that for me. Like there was a list of things that you were like, did you think about this? Did you think about this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have the tape to go on the thing? I was like, oh my God. Yeah, of course the tape.
Tape the cables.
Yeah. There's just so many things that go on behind the scenes that end up sometimes being afterthoughts. Who does that actually rely? Who does that lie to? Who should be doing that?
Well,
you said organizer. Is that there's somebody who is a middleman between who owns the show and who's putting on the show?
Every situation's different in this regard, but it keeps going back to the team. As long as you have enough people who know what's going on, somebody will catch these things. Is basically usually how it works on a show, even a not well planned show, a one-off. If you have enough experienced people, they have all the tools and everything to just pull it off,
I was just thinking about this because this is the first time I've ever done this in my business, but we use a project management tool. It's a piece of software and all the details go in there and it distributes it and delegates to all the different people involved in the show or in the project, let's say, or the job or the day or workshop, whatever. Do you see that in the industry? People using project management tools and delegating like that?
Yeah, and the corporate side, definitely.
Yeah.
They definitely, but not so much.
Oh, yeah, they love project management tools in the corporate side.
Sure, they spent billions on it.
Billions, for sure. Somebody spent a year building out that thing for that one day.
Yeah. Every gig's different and requires a certain amount of planning. Yeah. And generally, the more planning you need, the more people you need to hire to just plan or, maybe just have one producer or show requires. Yeah. But the project management stuff, I don't really see that much on my end because usually typically what happens is everybody plans this show for however long, months, years, whatever. And they come in and like you said, once you're faced with the reality of the situation, the timeline, things change instantaneously. And all those plans might have given you the confidence to actually get up and go do the gig, but really they're not going to get you through the gig. What's going to get you through the gig are some good techs who know what to do,
nuances,
knew what to do in the moment, and there we go. You don't want this? You want this? Okay, there we're doing this now.
Yeah,
ta-da!
Here we go.
That's the way it was meant to be, right?
Yeah, Yeah, especially people in and out, right? Like we're gonna be there, then weren't. Like, yeah, there's so much unpredictability.
It's just what it is. It's when you're dealing with the live situation, live in the moment. You know, all the idealization and planning can go out the window in 2 seconds. But it's good to have.
Yeah.
Like I'm not knocking it because we never even attempt it without putting some of the details together. We have to put something together.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to live or die by that plan.
Yeah. And I guess, that's kind of where I wanted to go with the rest of the podcast, is kind of focusing on like these facilitators. You probably see it. And again, it's going to be varied depending on what the objective is of like what presentation is happening and what the music or the sound is for. But I'm always so interested. And I guess this is like kind of like a big theme through the podcast is the opportunity part. So as somebody who is like a thinker or a dreamer, planner or an owner or a CEO, you're the one typically coming up with like, I want to put this on. I want to put this event on. I want to put this show on. I want to get this artist here. And I think it's like progressively, you can maybe speak to this, but I think it's progressively gotten so much more focused on the finances, on like the profit margins. And now we did a whole episode on like sponsorships, right? Of like these giant, huge venues. And now you have like sponsorships or the cost of you go to the venue, like the ticket cost and the cost of the drinks and food there, right? So I feel like it's gotten to a level where we maybe are moving. It's less about the artist. It's less about, the monkey on stage that's entertaining us, and more about all the money that's being made around the artist and kind of using it as like a tactic for these people to just get disgustingly filthy rich, right? Like we just see it getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, what from your end, kind of being like involved in the show, what's your take on the growth in terms of the finances?
Well, I've been like anti-capitalist since I was like 12 or 13 years old. Like,
wow.
Like I just at a young age, I realized very quickly that something wasn't right. Like, I don't know. When I was young, I felt like I should be able to trust people, or like, why would I be weird about saying hi to somebody in the street, or, like it just didn't make sense to me why we weren't working together. It just didn't ever line up. And, it's hard to figure out why these things might feel that way. But over the years, I basically attribute it all to capitalism. Basically taking one thing, that's true about life and replacing it with the number is I think it's warned about in pretty much every major religion, including Christianity pretty directly. So I don't understand why we live that way. It's a misassociation of reality. It's taking one thing and saying it's the other thing, and living that lie. And we all live lies. We all like. We don't know what the hell's going on, really. None of us really know what the heck's going on.
Yep.
But we need to figure stuff out to survive.
Right.
Right? And when you replace the need to discover reality with the need to make money, and that money isn't tied to reality, that's when things get weird. When our actions seem to not really align with our core values, or we don't know why we're doing these things on the whole. But there is a reason. It does make sense. It's just that we associate survival with going to a job, getting some money, and going to a store.
Yeah.
But the actuality is I need protein, I need this, I need that in my body, and I need to sleep, and I need to drink water. That,
love, joy, right?
Yeah. Love, joy, interaction,
exploration, curiosity. Yeah.
All things. And like money doesn't account, like there's no spreadsheet that accounts for these things. Yeah. But that's kind of how these businesses are built, on spreadsheets. But they cannot guide them to correct artistic displays. They can only direct them to make more money, which they think by having more money, they can make better art. But it's not how it works.
No.
Not how it goes. We're discovering that pretty harshly right now. I mean, I don't know. Like,
yeah. Well, that's, yeah. I totally agree. Like, in capitalism, everything.
See my husband shaking. He's like, I know. I totally agree.
So
Jake says this all the time.
everything has to make money, otherwise it dies, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to put on shows, your venue has to make money or that venue dies. And without that, like you don't have a choice. Like a lot of these people are doing this because like they want artists to play for people in groups, but you have to take their money and you have to keep taking more because of inflation and blah blah blah. Like
your overhead's so big, and and this
That's
CEO
hard.
who doesn't even know what
And then
music
sure,
is
yeah.
has to make their profit margin for it to keep happening, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I think like you brought up a really interesting point, because there is this innate human nature where you want to be around art. Like we're addicted to it because it does give us those very organic, like take away the price tag. It gives you those feelings when you're in, specifically music for me. But even if you're in like an announcing, if you're going to see like a speech or a corporate event, you're learning education. Anytime that there's like someone on stage presenting something to you or performing, we get these really crazy, beautiful feelings. And that's why people are just, following like zombies, going to the events and paying these outrageous prices. You see it, people just curing dead because they want to go to these things and be part of something. And I think that the industry is capitalizing on that.
Yeah.
They're using it to manipulate, right?
Like
to their
gatekeeping our culture against ourselves is kind of gross.
yeah.
Really.
Yeah. We used to have like, outdoor festivals where people would just come together because they wanted to like play together and they wanted to create. And now because like you said, it's that gatekeep and it's that putting like a price tag on it. And again, people are still doing it, but they're like going in crazy debt because of it. And who's making the money off it, right? Like the performers typically aren't even the ones getting the money.
No.
So I think that it brings in a whole other element that you get to see as being an artist is that, they're the last ones paid.
Yeah.
Like the all the people on top that are all organizing this are getting paid first, and whatever's left over. I've heard on the podcast we've heard so many stories of artists saying like, well, we put on this show and then no one showed up and I just like didn't get paid. Like I didn't get paid what I was promised at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And those are the stories that just break my heart, because I'm like, there's the industry, the owners, the landlords, they all have lawyers backing them. They have so much protection, again for them. And like, us as artists at the low man on the totem pole are nothing. No one's protecting us, right?
Yeah. Because you're going to do it anyways. Because that's just the way you're wired, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You're just going to do it. And that,
exactly. It's in us. Like, we just have to do it. We have to get it out, right? Like, we have to perform.
Exploitation, but only for so long, right? Like, they can only control these types of things for so long before another alternative opens up and lets people live a different way.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to doing some kind of crazy stuff with what's available now, technology-wise, except that, the technology that's coming out now that's really helpful is being promoted as harmful to artists. But really, like I'm speaking of AI.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, AI has no purpose in art. Like art is an expression of being human. So I mean, sure, there's maybe some value of like us programming a script to read through our language and create art based on that. It's kind of cool, sure, but it is not art. It's not human art. It's it's a derivative of human art. But, so it's more of a commodity than anything, right? And that's why they love it. That's why they, I feel like they push this stuff in our face. So as a whole, people reject AI, but ultimately AI, like what we're talking about, capitalization, corporate structure, all this kind of stuff is kind of inhuman in its nature. It's not really human. It could be better done by a machine.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't need a person to be ripping off people. We can have a machine do that way more effective.
Yeah.
And the machine really probably wouldn't have the same greed. It might just like end up being a bank account that like becomes a tax account.
Well, it depends how it's
That's-
programmed.
It depends how it's programmed.
Well, because
Yeah.
someone's
And,
still
like,
going to own the robot.
That's
you know?
what I'm speaking of. In the technology today, how AI plays out now can make or break us, very much so.
I think it's always been like that, right? Oh, banks are great. We have a pooling system. Well, somebody's going to own that bank and copyright it.
Yeah.
Oh, airplanes are great. We can get from one point to the other. Oh, they're great. Oh, but someone's going to own that. So like now we have to pay
hasn't always been
hundreds
like
of
this,
thousands of
though.
dollars,
What you're speaking of is what people call the end of end times of capitalism. You know, like when you play Monopoly, is basically a simplified version of capitalism, right?
Yep.
You know, you buy stuff. With the stuff you buy, you put more money into it, and then you make more money. The people who invest their money most intelligently bankrupt everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that's kind of how our system functions. I mean, we have all sorts of stops and whatnot in play to keep the game going on longer, but
Yeah.
we're essentially at the end of a Monopoly game where somebody's already won,
Yeah.
and we're still rolling dice, losing every turn,
Yeah.
and it's not very fun. Nobody really enjoys it, except for the people who have all this money. Like, so, I mean...
Well, and even that, like, the system's so broken because those people at the top, like the billionaires at the top, are miserable. They have drug problems. They're cheating on their spouses. They're,
Yep.
you know, they're losing their minds. They're
Yeah.
losing their marbles. So, like, no one's winning.
No one's
really,
winning.
no one's winning.
Nobody's winning. It's inhuman.
Yeah.
We're not promoting acts of humanity. We're promoting acts of I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever this cancerous gain structure they have, imaginary cancerous gain structure they think is real.
Right.
Yeah, like nothing can expand infinitely, right? And that's basically how our
Mm-hmm.
economy is built. So like the economy itself has to have limits within itself, and we attempt to put these constraints in, like the carbon tax is kind of one of those things, but you see how much the news rejects the carbon tax, how much negative publicity we have about that. It's because that's taxing corporations directly for their damage of the earth. Like somebody's got to, like, somehow we have to pay for this. The corporations never will, because corporations aren't people. Corporations have the rights of people.
They're hundreds of thousands of people.
But
they
they operate on a strict legal guideline of making more money. If the people in that position don't make money, they get fired. Or get charged. Even,
or the business closes, or
they're under imperatives that aren't congruent with life in general.
And I think that's the same really with currency in general. Like, just like, you ask somebody, if we abolish money, if we got rid of the corporate America, if we got rid of capitalism, we'd be so much better off. And like, you just see the fear in people's faces. And these are poor people.
Yeah.
These are people that are barely paying. They're barely making by. And they're still so attached with this like disassociative, it's not reality. And they're still so attached to it.
You know why? It's because it's survival to them. It's how they've learned to survive.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, is that we've replaced our survival instincts with making money.
Yeah.
And we're very good at
these people
surviving.
can't light a fire. They can't cook. They can't,
We're very good at surviving.
Yeah.
If you think surviving is about ripping off your neighbor and taking his car, like, that's what we're going to do.
Working overtime,
Very
making
well.
an extra $100.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
you can buy
Working
your
overtime.
cigarettes at the end of the week. Like, it's just such a misuse of life.
So the way I see things is AI, like middle management, is basically useless in many cases. Like, there's no reason why we need people on all these places. Well, there is a reason, and the reason is corruption. The only reason to keep a person there is a computer can't be as readily corrupted.
Right.
At least one that's not going to operate open source.
Well, no, because they operate on like a rule governed base. So they're just like, oh, here's the rule and don't break it. And they never do.
I gave him 20 and I gave him 30 because he got 30 last week and he didn't. But I want 30 every week. How can we make the computer give me 30 every week? And they'll find a way to do it because it's their survival techniques.
Right.
Like with a computer, you can just say, no, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
And
make it fair.
Like, it's not gonna be that simple, obviously. But
I know, because whoever owns that system is gonna do something stupid with it.
Well, you just have to. There's ways to like the way we operate in science is basically like, we want to prove something's real. Okay, we'll prove it like 300 times over in all sorts of different circumstances.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing with the AI. You just have an AI in every region that has the same core programming, and then just should spit out the same answer, but it won't always, because it's going to be slightly different.
Yeah.
But through all that, you can discern where the real answer is, because
Well, and
it's
now
sync
they're saying it's
servers and stuff.
regenerative, so it's like teaching itself. It's like just it's going to take off and just teach
Well, yeah,
whatever's the
there's-
best for the system.
There's so much
Which
that's
could look
put out there
good.
now.
Could look good.
Maybe they could be like, yo, it's
It's
not
learning
good
off
that these
itself.
people are having billionaires and you have starving people down here. Like maybe that will be able to like eliminate the corruption and just realize that the system and make it more equal,
Well, also with like this level of technology, we're getting to the point of, what do they call it? Post-abundance, or basically there's enough to go around.
Yeah.
We don't need to be killing each other so we can each all have a slice of bread. We don't
There's
need to
so
be doing
much.
that. Like,
I know.
There's no reason
There's
to be doing
so
that.
So much food.
Like,
Just
it's okay,
give it to them.
right? We just
Yeah.
need. The problem is greed, corruption, and centralization of currency.
Yeah.
Is all the problems, which is essentially the mantra of capitalism.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's the problem. Like our parents were raised on the belief that capitalism versus communism, and both are bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Both have their issues, and it
Yeah.
all
We need to
comes
go
down
back to
the
community
people.
setting. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to
Yeah.
go back to like
exactly.
local government and community based. And I think we see the same thing happening in like the art community, right? The artist wants to perform.
Yeah.
The people want to see them and celebrate the art. And you're right. It's these like gatekeepers in between that are just like getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But again, then you ask these artists that are very obviously being taken advantage of, and they're like, again, I don't know, I forget what the psychology behind it is, but they're like attached to their captor, that kind of thing, where they're
Stockholm.
like
Yeah.
Stockholm,
Yeah.
they're like, I couldn't do this without them, like I can't buy a big huge stage, I can't own an auditorium, I wouldn't know how to get all these people here.
Yeah.
So then they believe that their art is only as good as their marketer and their promoter and their manager and their
Gatekept culture.
right.
Yeah.
So then all of a
That's not the
sudden
way culture
they
works.
have no confidence in themselves, like they lose that like sense of identity, the thing that made them the artist,
Yeah.
that made them this like incredible human, is now been diminished to like, wow, you're only good because I've made you this way, or like, and it's their gift. And we've like, I think G was talking about this too. It was just like, they plant these seeds into these artists because if they ever did, get empowered and started talking shit, they could take over the world.
Yeah.
Like we're all just, there's a reason why we worship these people. They're incredible. They're doing these amazing things. And instead we're giving all our money to this guy who then doesn't even give it to the person that we want to worship.
Yeah.
So I think this like middleman theory, you're right. I think that's the problem, is that these middlemen are like just the ones, collecting all the checks.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people sitting around doing nothing, complaining about not collecting enough money,
Yeah.
and they could all be replaced by a computer. And it doesn't mean that they should all just starve in the streets. It just means we need to restructure our model so
Totally.
we all survive, and all our voices can be heard within the democracy.
Yeah.
Not just the ones that make billions of dollars in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I think you made a really good point too, that there's no need for anyone to be starving and homeless.
There's
There's
no need.
no need. We have
It's
so
just
much
coordination and
Yeah.
greed and gatekeepers that stop it from happening. you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's larger concerns, obviously.
Well, that's all. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I always saw that too. I saw money as like a roadblock. Like I was like, any advancement in science or anything like that. Like, what's the funding? Oh, what's funding? Like, it's this like digital unit that we've created ourselves that is stopping us from doing everything.
I'm not allowed to
good
think
in the
about
world.
this because I don't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Is not having money gonna stop you from taking a crap?
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe.
But yeah,
You
I
don't
like-
have, remember in Peru we had to buy the bathroom?
Yeah.
You couldn't even go to the bathroom. You had to go pay them like 50 cents or something to go use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then there wouldn't be any toilet paper.
Yeah, you have to buy your toilet paper separately. There's always a way to charge all the money.
That's okay. Those people there are working hard.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, my last question, I love asking this, is anyone who's interested in the industry, what would be your word of advice for them?
like in the tech side of the industry?
Either one, emotional or tech.
Well, if you have to do it. Just be prepared with the reality of the situation. Not one person's ever going to change it, but you can do a lot on your own. And just find people who work with you and do the thing. And have
Amazing.
fun.
Yeah.
Make sure you have fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this is amazing. This is so good. Thank you so
Well,
much for
thanks.
coming on.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and you'll never miss a podcast.
All right, good night.